Okay, so I'm going to talk about the number one thing in writing that I hate the most, and that is how some writers believe that adverbs, such as uh, adverbs, adjectives, whatever, that end in ly should be eradicated from your writing entirely. I really think that's stupid because technically that rule about getting rid of ly words in your writing is mainly for essay writing. Essay writing is not fiction. In essay writing, you are giving facts, and ly words don't give the essay the sureness that it needs. Unlike in fiction writing, where it doesn't really matter how factual the piece is, as long as you're telling a good story, nobody cares. So yeah, that's the one thing that I will disagree with most writers who think that this shouldn't be included in fiction writing, because I think they're wrong. Of course, like I said in my first video, this is just my opinion. If you don't like ly words and that's not how you write, then don't. This is just one of my huge pet peeves about writing, is how people think ly words aren't words that can be used, which they are and have always been used. Like, I've seen ly words in my fiction, not mine, like fiction that I read, all of my life. Laura Ingalls Wilder does it, Robert Louis Stevenson does it, Charlotte Bronte does it, Hunter S. Thompson does it, the person who wrote How to Kill a Mockingbird does it. It's like, honestly, ly words are your friend, use them. They give they give your story more substance. I mean, they're like a spice. You know, you're going to make chili, and the ly words are your chili powder and your other hot spices to make chili really interesting and good tasting. Um, so yeah, ly words are your friends. Please use them. I use them. I think it's a stupid thing to say because it's only for essay writing. Don't use ly words in essay writing, but you can use them in your fictional writing. So yeah, this video, I guess, is a little too short. So I'll go on to other things that I find pet peeves in writing, and I guess this will mostly pertain to fan fiction. And in this case, I will go back to reviews because I never finished my point in the introduction. Um, Fanfiction.net has now become a black hole of bad fanfiction. Really bad fan fiction, and I still have my account there, and I read, I mean, I was able to find some people that could write a decent story. There's one in Pirates of the Caribbean that was about, what's his face? Hector Barbosa, and there was an OC, and this was like the best written OC ever that I've ever like come across, and that series was awesome. I can't remember what it's called. And then somebody else wrote some stories in Lord of the Rings, and uh, all those stories are gone now, which is sad because there's one I really wanted to be finished because it was awesome, and it was about Faramir, and I don't usually read Faramir and Boromir stories, but this one was really good. And so yeah, so sometimes you can come across some really good fanfic authors, but most of the time the fanfics suck. And what like the pet peeve I have for this is when the whole summary of a fanfic is, this is my first fanfic. Really? That's all you have to say about your story. If you ever want to become a published author, you have to have a friggin' summary to give to people, because then people will read it. You know, like, I have read some really bad fanfics, but they had a really awesome summary. You see what I mean? Summary is like your marketing piece to get people to read your fanfic. Hopefully. So what you need to do is come up with a good summary. And if it's not good, then at least come up with something that tells the people something about the story. You know, because I think most of my fanfic summaries really suck. They do. But hey, at least I have a summary. At least people know what this story entails. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this is my such and such number of fanfic in this fandom. Read a review, you know? Because then people would be like, Johnny Penn, you've been in this fandom forever. You've been in other fandoms, and you have summaries here. How come you don't have a summary on this fanfic? You know? Like, hello? Um, my first fandom ever was Yu-Gi-Oh! And my best friend and I didn't know that we were writing fanfic when we would write something and trade it in between each other and write and add to the story. But we had a summary on the title page. There was a summary about the story. I don't know which one of us came up with that, but one of us did. And so yeah, so that's the thing. You have to have a summary. I'm sorry. And also, ugh, gosh. Reviews. Don't ask for a review on your story unless you actually want a review that helps you. Because reviews that say, oh, this is great, that's not a review. That is somebody encouraging you. And yes, I like those. I'm not going to lie. Those are awesome and I love them. And I love it when people say, oh, the story is just awesome and I love this part of it. Or they, like, come up with something that I didn't see in my own story, and I was like, oh, dude, that's the story. I'm totally stealing that. That is what the story is about, which has happened to me. And so I love it when that happens, but also as a writer and as somebody who does ask for reviews on some things, I'm going to probably hear things I don't want to hear. Like, maybe I should go back and fix my commas or do spell check or something. You know, and that is that is a legitimate review. I'm not just saying that, you know, you've got the encouragement reviews, which are just as legitimate, but these legitimate reviews are to help me. They're not to put me down, and they're not saying that the story is bad. They're saying that the story can be better if I just make some changes. And so I don't mind those reviews. And then, of course, in the internet world, you have flames, where just people hate the story, and they hate the author, and they hate everybody! Trolls! And, unfortunately, you're going to have trolls in published writing circle, and you're going to have trolls in fanfic writing circle. So, it doesn't matter what sort of writer you are, fanfic, publish, or if you are trying to go from fanfic to publish, or if you're doing both at the same time, you're going to have trolls. And those are the reviews you need to ignore, you need to delete, because those reviews aren't out to help you. I mean, at least the encouraging reviews and the legitimate reviews, at least they're there to, like, help, you know? Because sometimes you can feel really bad about a story and think it's complete and utter crap, and then someone comes along and says, I really like this story. And that's all you need to actually help you feel better about the story. Even if you still hate it, at least you know somebody likes it. And so that's, like, the thing. Okay, computer just went time, sorry. So, like, that's my thing with reviews. When I review, I try to say something nice about the story. I don't necessarily say that I like it, but I'll say something like, oh, I really like this aspect of the story and good work, and or something. I don't mostly do those helpful, legitimate reviews because I suck at editing. So yeah, I'm more of the encouraging sort of reviewer, unless I really, 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 really hate the story, and then I'll just not review at all. Because, you know, I don't consider myself a troll, and I think it's kind of mean just to put somebody down because their stuff sucks. Especially if it's someone who's, like, starting out. And, like, we all had to start out somewhere. So instead of discouraging new people who are trying to get into the whole writing thing, we should be encouraging and helping instead of just flaming them. Okay, and that isn't to say that I didn't flame, because I did once. It was this story in Full Metal, and it was about Edward Elric in Envy and something, I don't even know. This whole entire story was in chat NetSpeak. Okay, I call it NetSpeak because that's what I grew up with. with the internet. It wasn't like text talk until cell phones came along. And, well, okay, cell phones were there during the 80s, but they were really big honky things, okay? You remember the things, and you had to pull the thing off, and they were, yeah, okay, they're not the cell phones we have today, so you couldn't, like, write something and text people on those big-ass things. So when I read stuff like lol or SRLY for seriously or whatever, to me that's net speak, because that's where all of that technically originated. I'm sorry, texters, but your language is not your language. It's the internet language that's been applied to cell phones. So, yeah. If you grew up during the 90s, you'd know that. So, yeah. Okay. Because, no, seriously, some people actually think that text speak originated with cell phones when it didn't. It was net before it was text, and yeah, idiots. One of my other pet peeves is when people try to talk about shit they don't actually know about. You know, I actually kind of know about that because I was on the computer in the 90s, and I was part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Role-playing posting boards. So, yeah. NetSpeak. Don't write your entire goddamn story in NetSpeak. It sucks. It's horrible. Don't do that. Like, okay, Sherlock, BBC Sherlock is really popular, and I love that show. He is texting, and people are texting back, and they show it there, but you know what? He doesn't use text speak. That is the only medium you are allowed to use text speak in. I know, I'm saying this as a rule, and to me it is. I don't text unless I'm using the medium of a cell phone or an email or a chat window online on a computer that the characters are communicating through. Don't write NetSpeak into your narrative or into what people are saying unless that's just what a person does. You know, like they say lol out loud, which I've done. I'm not going to lie. There was a time when I was so saturated with online stuff that lol just came out. And not in the Death Note way either. So, yeah, I've done that, and I'm sure other people have done that, kind of like the whole otaku thing, just randomly saying Japanese words. So, yeah, just please don't write goddamn stories like that, because it pisses me off, because that is lazy writing. Lazy! So, yes, in that case, I did comment, and I said, dude, you're writing, just don't. Just stop, just don't. Don't. Yeah, I wasn't encouraging at all, but I don't care because that story pissed me off. And I wasn't the only person to tell whoever that wrote this goddamn awful story. I was like, don't ever write again. Because no. Not good. So NetSpeak, completely, totally out. Don't do it unless you're using a medium where NetSpeak is actually a legitimate way of writing. And on most posting boards and memes, it's not. I've been part of posting boards where NetSpeak is completely banned, and people will get pissed at you if you use anything more than lol or seriously or rolling on the floor laughing my ass off. You know, it's like a few things are okay, but if your entire message is in chat speak, they will come at you with their troll pitchforks and their troll flames, and they will get you. So don't. Trust me, don't. Not that I ever did that, but I saw people that did that, and I got mad at them too. So, okay. Other things that get me pissed off about writing, I think that's it. I'll have to go through and actually figure this out. I just thought the video was too short with the LY words, and I just wanted to, like, rant on that because that was stupid. I guess this is mostly just a rant video. Well, whatever. Next one will be informative, I promise. And I might have a script. I don't know. Okay, bye.